of all, you're at the council, you just arrived. How has today been for yourself so far? Are you disappointed, or what's the feeling like after your vote?
I suppose I'm a little bit disappointed. Overall though, I think I did a really good vote. I got a really good. I'm only involved in politics for the last year, so I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that people still put their trust in someone. Like I saw myself getting number ones in like small country boxes, you know. So I'm delighted with that. I thought I would maybe get a bit more of the maybe the change vote. But I suppose we as a party are doing very badly nationally, and we need to think about that. You know, something we as a party have to look at why we're not getting votes.
And why are Labour not getting votes? Because Declan Bree, a running rival, I suppose, of you today, was elected in 1992, and effectively what we're seeing today is that spring tide, but it's a Mary Lou MacDonald tide.
Yeah, and it is, and I think we probably we should have gotten some of that Sinn Féin. But we need to look, I suppose we're still associated with austerity, and maybe some of the older members of the Labour Party were there when those austerity measures were brought in, and we got the hit for it. And well, we made mistakes, like every party does, but I think we're getting the brunt of it. But I think we need to look, even despite that, we need to look at what we're doing wrong, that we're not attracting younger voters as well.
But what are Sinn Féin doing right that Labour aren't doing? Because you're both on the left wing, and they have got an incredible surge, and you haven't got that bounce. And maybe other left-wing parties we're seeing across the country aren't getting the bounce. They're hoovering up that left-wing support.
They are, and they were obviously appealing. Maybe they're straight talking. Mary Lou MacDonald's she's a great leader. And I think here, Martin Kenny's a superb TD, and so I suppose Pierce Doherty as well. So they obviously do a lot of work on the ground. They have a lot of councillors feeding into the big, they have a lot of councillors there as well. So I think we need to look at it as a party. I suppose we are disappointed nationally that we're not picking up some of that left wing.
But when you look at someone like Alan Kelly, who's in trouble in Tipperary, probably your most high-profile TD after Brendan Howlin, surely is Labour gone? Is it down in the doldrums? How can you revive the party after a day like today?
I think we got the council was good, the council elections were good to us, this year's council elections or last year's council elections, and there's a lot of new candidates, particularly younger women candidates that came in around the bigger cities. So we're going to have to build on that, and we're going to have to look at where our voters are, are we should, because we have very similar policies to Sinn Féin, and I know we say like Jan O'Sullivan and Owen O'Brien work very closely on housing, but we need to look at why we're not getting the Sinn Féin are.
Talk to me about the leadership, and you mentioned, I suppose Mary Lou MacDonald is a good leader. Brendan Howlin was there during austerity, is the leader of the party now. Is Brendan Howlin's future as Labour leader over after today?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I suppose that's above my pay grade, but I don't. I suppose I like Brendan Howlin. I think he's a very honest man, and he's associated with austerity as well. And I think I've always liked Brendan Howlin actually. But I suppose Mary Lou MacDonald she's a very good debater. Sometimes I think Labour do undersell ourselves. There's no spin attached to Labour. That we're maybe too honest sometimes. That there's no, we don't get the credit for half the things we've done. And I mean, we did so much for our society through the years, and we don't, without Labour there'd be no repeal aid, there'd be no marriage equality, there'd be no children's, the baby services are for children. And we don't get the credit for it. And I think, and even we were the only party we say that voted against the blanket bailout of the banks. So there's things like that I think Labour just too honest, maybe, which I shouldn't be saying that's a bad thing, but we need to sell ourselves a bit better.
But Sinn Féin could be in a position where Labour were around, we'd say, the start of the last decade, where Labour went into government and got caught maybe got blamed for all the austerity and the measures, and have never really recovered from it. We're looking at the wider political landscape here. What do you see as the future? Will Sinn Féin go into government with Fianna Fáil? Will Fine Gael? Mary Lou is in a very strong position now, and as a female leader, I suppose, does that add a different dynamic to it?
I'd say that's probably what I would love to see is a broad left alliance, and I would love to, and I've said that from the very start. I'd love to see ourselves, Labour, Sinn Féin, Greens, People for Profit, Social Democrats and Progressive Independents making a broad alliance. But the numbers aren't there for that.
The policies aren't there. Labour and Sinn Féin policies, I imagine, would differ a lot on key issues.
Not really.
The Special Criminal Court?
That'd be one, yeah. But not really. Not around housing, not around healthcare.
The Ard Corla?
The Ard Corla, I suppose, yeah.
That's two.
But they're not necessarily policy issues. If you're looking at the key policy issues that relate to changing Irish society, we'd be very similar around infrastructure, around healthcare, around housing. We'd be very similar. So, I mean, and especially up here, Martin Kenny is a superb TD. I think he's the best we have, and I think I'd love if I was elected. I think he'd be a very easy man to work with.
You're not putting yourself forward as a Sinn Féin jumping ship or anything like that necessarily?
No, Labour's my natural home, not at all. And I mean, but I would be very much thinking that we need to define our own space. Like, we need to figure out why we're not. You know, like, I mean, I very deliberately joined the Labour Party only in 2016, but I think we have a lot of work to do, and we need to look at that. Sinn Féin, I can see Sinn Féin going up to Fianna Fáil. And I suppose Fianna Fáil, I'm not a fan of Fianna Fáil at all. And I would hate to see them back in government, actually. And I can see that Sinn Féin probably will get the blame for mistakes.
But Fianna Fáil effectively were in government, weren't they?
Absolutely. In the last few years, and Fianna Fáil, in my opinion, caused the whole upset. So, and I think Fine Gael kept it going, but Fianna Fáil, if it wasn't for the crash, Fianna Fáil did cause the crash.
So for yourself, you missed out obviously in the local elections last year. You've maybe got, I think, 4 or 5%, we'll say, today for this. Where do you go next? Where does Nessa Cosgrove go next in terms of, will we have an election in 6 months' time or 2 years' time, or what you think your own personal future is?
Well, I'm going to concentrate on building up the vote here, building up the support here. Like, we've a very low membership here. Like, we've got a team of about 6 or 7, and that's it. You know, I mean, we've done an amazing campaign. We've done so well for this tiny group. We're a very tight group, and we get on really well. But like, we need to look at how, like, even canvassing, we'd be going out with 2 or 3 people, and you'll see the machines of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael with like 40 people on the same night. So we have to look at that. I mean, I definitely will gear towards the local, running for the local government again. Maybe 2 of us might, you know, you could see that. Like, we'd love to build up membership. We've got 5 years to do it. But I'm not going anywhere anyway. I'm going to be sitting here.
And I suppose the final question is, do you expect another general election in a short period of time? If we have a hung Dáil and Sinn Féin, Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, kind of, we'll say Fianna Fáil maybe in the 50s, Fine Gael in the 30s and Sinn Féin in the 30s, what way is that going to pan out?
Well, I hope there's not, and I hope Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael cop themselves on a bit about going into a coalition with Sinn Féin. I think Sinn Féin obviously are representing, they've got a massive vote and they're representing people, so they need to, it's ridiculous to say they're not going in with Sinn Féin. I think it's ridiculous for Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael to say they're not going in with Sinn Féin. And I think we need to get over it. They need to get over themselves really about that. So I'd hope not that there's going to be a hung Dáil. I think people are sick of elections, you know, so I think we need to just concentrate on building up. The homeless crisis is still there, like, and the healthcare is still a mess, so more elections is just more stalling on this.
Great, Nessa, agrees.
Thank you.
Thanks a million.
Thanks very
Appreciate
much.
your help. Thanks.